How do you feel about what you achieved? I mean, do you feel satisfied? Are you proud of yourself that you got something right?
Well, I feel good because I sort of did what I was trained to do. I thought that was my job, was to be entertaining, to make a show just throw everything but the kitchen sink in there and do it as well as you could. That was what you're hired for. And I think I did my job. And the training that I got, I don't even know where this training came from, but I don't know, from reading Arthur Miller, I don't know what, from going to the movies, from watching Marty Scorsese, all that stuff. Really what it was about was just not shorting the audience. Just give it to them. And you know, there's sort of this notion that, you know what, they don't care and they won't understand it. So you don't have to put all these details in. You don't have to do that. And you have to tell them everything. You can't like hold anything back, and you can't expect they're going to care that something's happening on more than one level. You know, I resisted that. And sometimes I'd find myself falling into that mindset. You get tired, you know. And actually, I think the show proved to me that that wasn't the case. That the audience was there, and that they would care. And they crave those details. And they want those inconsistencies. Why is Uncle Junior saying that? He just said that he was not in the Army. And that's the kind of thing in the networks. Well, was he in the Army or wasn't in the Army? It doesn't matter. He's lying, you know. And even if he's not lying, it doesn't matter. But it doesn't matter. There's something else going on. And I think the show sort of made me feel good about the audience, and that these other people who say all that stuff are wrong. It's there to be done, you know. They really do want to be swept away. They don't want to be bored. They don't want to be talking on their cell phone when they're watching TV. Not really. Actually expecting the audience to bring something to the party, which is their attention. Listen to this because it might be important later.
The two of us, intense philosophical conversations, and we need to know, are Randy and Cheese Wagstaff related?
They are. I can say officially that that is his son.
It is his son.
It is his son.
Why is that a storyline that you didn't pursue at all?
We were going to pursue it.
You just blew my mind, by the way.
Listen, there were a lot of latent things buried in the wire because you never know. We buried certain things. We buried certain things as potential storylines. Not all of them turned out to be appropriate, but ultimately there was a moment where if we wouldn't have changed anything in the main storylines of season 5 if we were given, we were given 10.5 hours. If we were given 12 hours, the main storylines would have stayed exactly as they were, but there would have been a little thing with Cheese and some disconnect between. It wasn't like he was going to adopt them or anything, but there would have been a little disconnect there. There would have been a Cuddy storyline, little minor storylines. That's where the extra hour and a half, or probably, And by the way, if we thought it would have really aggressively added to the picture, I could have gone back and said to HBO, I need 11 hours, I need 12. At the point at which we were in production, Carolyn Strauss would have granted it. It was, I went back to her. I said, I can't finish number 10 in 60. I need 90 minutes, and she said, no problem. So ultimately, it wasn't as if evil HBO was stomping all over the wire and not giving us what we needed. We were achieving the storyline we wanted to do. Everything else would have been a little more icing on the cake, and one of the little pieces of icing would have been a little with Randy and Cheese. But at some point, you start realizing the skeleton is stronger for not having so much flesh on it.
Yeah.
And so the writers really looked at it and said, you know what, it's just gilding Lily. We got everything we need out of Randy from this scene with Bunk. There's nothing more we could say by utilizing that storyline. So you ultimately make these choices. That doesn't mean you don't protect yourself by burying stuff in earlier seasons.
Thank you.
Sure.